Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, to the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Yo, Melly Man, what's up? From BX to you later, fam. It's your man. What's up? This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. You know the vibe. If you gon' tell a gangster story, need to let a gangster tell it. And for the record, a gangster ain't never telling. A gangster gon' keep his mouth closed and die felon. 10 toes down, lace up your chucks and grab your weapon. I'm reppin' for my section. My mom big steppin'. Hype gang if he visit the turf and he ain't check in. He ain't gang, he just riding the wave. Another cow about to find him a grave. It's Santa gang. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. This is for the gangsters. Shout out to the gangsters. Postman posted with them gangsters. My homies be on gang time. All my homies throwing gang signs. I keep it real, I cannot fake mines. You know.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. Let's get to it. I am Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe. Shout out to Marlene and William, Postmaster General. Michelle, hey, King Mike, Marks. Man, I can't keep up with all these name changes. Okay, King Mike extra large. How you guys doing today? I'm doing wonderful and I'm well. I'm up and I'm doing. Let's get to it. Shout out to Christy Jones in there. Hello. Hello, Christy Jones. Shout out to those people down there, Southwest Florida, man, that's having, you know what I mean? They part of the Hood Postman, the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. They tap in. Hopefully they're doing well and okay down there. Let's pray for those down in the Southwest Florida that's dealing with the Hurricane Ian. Let's pray for those individuals. So let's get to the wisdom. Real wisdom is the property of God. And the human wisdom has little or no human value. Again, the real wisdom is the property of God. This wisdom, the wisdom of humans has little or no value whatsoever. So you got to get on that God wisdom. This is great. And I want to talk to you guys about a multitude of things, and I'm going to make it MIP, of course. I'm going to try to make it plain. But we on Black Watch today. We on Black Watch because we must put the demonic state of mind to rest. See, a lot of people don't understand what it is to be grounded. And I'm going to explain it. It is the earthly science of grounding. The earthly science. Grounding is the earthly science. It is a science that where you are grounded, in tune with nature, where you have crystals. You understand that crystals represent the purity, purity and healing and faith and perfection, and also it has the relaxing and the healing component to it. And you understand how important this is. But we are so, because we came into this world, right? We weren't wearing shoes. Shoes is a man invention. So you have to at some point be grounded, whether you're walking in the sand or you're walking in the grass. I'm talking about with no shoes on. That is called being grounded with nature. You're grounding with nature. But we're so caught up in the psychological fight and warfare that we don't realize that we are doing a great deal of damage to ourselves. And I'm going to back all the way up. Let me back all the way up. 1960s was the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement. We lost counselors and individuals. We lost MAK. We lost Medgar Evers. We lost Bobby Huggins. Chairman Fred Hampton. Bobby Huggins. We lost Bunchy Carter and Malcolm X. We lost all those individuals doing that through the Coin Code, Pro Code. So these things are think tanks that's been around for years, and I'm drawing to a point. And I just want you guys to bear with me. In the 70s, we dealt with Tricky Dick Nixon. Richard Milhouse Nixon. He's the one that set the course for where we headed from that point on. He's the one that really initiated the war on drugs and all the things that happened to us in the 70s because he was setting us up for the play in 80s. In the 80s, we had Reaganomics and the crack cocaine hit. In the 90s, we was in the dot-com era where everybody invested tons of money and everybody was winning, and all of a sudden, boom, the money was gone. There was no money. Then the 2000 Y2K, we had the Y2K when they thought the numbers wouldn't, about 1999, they wouldn't be able to fit to 2000, and you was going to lose everything and all your banking information and all this. There was another pandemic. There was a scare, and everybody went out and bought all sorts of kind of things, and nothing happened, of course. But then, lo and behold, we had the crash of the housing market later on in the 2000s. Bam, devastated the country. 2016 was when Donald Trump took the White House. So what I'm trying to do is make a point to you guys that every decade there's some things that occur in this country that is bound to happen and is going to happen. I want you guys to understand. 2016, Donald Trump. It also was the creation of TikTok. And I want y'all to hold that point. TikTok was created in 2016. 2020, ironically, pandemic, right? I'm sitting in the house. Sitting in the house. I'm in the house and sitting in the house and I'm sitting in the house and I'm bored. Remember that little jingle? I'm in the house, sitting in the house and I'm sitting in the house and I'm sitting in the house bored. In the house bored. You remember that jingle? Right? Perfect for April 2020. April 2020 was the creation. Now watch this. Pandemic, right? April is when they started talking about the pandemic, right? April is also the month that the Clubhouse was represented. Yes, Clubhouse was initiated because remember you were sitting in the house board, right? Had absolutely nothing to do because the government had shut down all systems, all jobs, nobody was going, and they told you if you sit still and for a certain period of time they would create the stimulus money and they would help you out with your bills and food and store shelves. It's wiped out, empty and clean, and you had to sit in the house and you can enjoy being on the Clubhouse. You can be on YouTube. It's really started all this where we are now and where I'm leading to. And I want y'all to understand. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Clubhouse came in the same time that the pandemic struck in 2020, April, both at simultaneously, right? Ironic, sitting in the house, I'm in the house bored, right? Sitting in the house, I'm sitting in the house bored, right? All that, right? So you get the creation of this. So, and I want you to back up all the way back to the 80s. They used crack as a way to break down the hood in the 80s. They were using music at that time as a way to break down our communities and and this is how they introduced the first when they and you thinking back into this time, and this is right now where we at, and what I like to refer is digital crack. It's digital crack. Because when you think about everything that goes on with Clubhouse and everything that's happening, you think all these individuals across, whether you're in Texas, whether you're in New York, whether you're in California, you got people that's feuding and fighting on the internet daily, daily. But why was the Clubhouse created at the same time that the pandemic was going on? Why? You got to ask yourself that, because during this time, you got individuals going on there gaslighting. This is a form of a psychological manipulation, which the abuser attempts to solve the doubt, self-doubt, and confuse the minds of the people that they're dealing with. That's what's happening on Clubhouse, because you got people spending hours and hours and hours of the day of the time on Clubhouse. Just fighting, bickering, backbiting, lying, spinning stories. And they find that entertaining. And then you got the Damu and the Keyway, the GDs and the BDs, right? They're using the internet. It is digital crack because they're addicted. Now they had taken gangbanging to an all-time high. Now most of the gangbanging is done over the internet. And then they go out looking for these quote unquote what they like to refer to as ops. Thank you, Collie boy. I appreciate it. So the breakdown of the community is the digital crack. We are the only culture that creates self-destruction through its music. We promote it, we market it, and it's systematically the systematic racism and the nihilistic drill music that is occurring right now is what's driving this. It means death. It means dishonor. It means no loyalty. That's it. How you think creates how you feel. And how you feel becomes an emotional, and emotion becomes a vibration. Follow me on this, people. A vibration, it becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. So it's not too far-fetched to believe that. So we only talk about death in the music now, the misogynistic of the music, the degradation of the music. You got people on music talking about smoking and killing, killing their people and smoking them at the same time. What in the world are we coming to? You know, you're not an op. You're a king and a queen. You're not a ninja. Your people created math. You're not an F-boy. You created the internet. But look what happened though when you created the internet. Because once again, we bounce back to the Act of 1710, meritorious manumission. Meritorious manumission is when you create, you protect white wealth and white property and create something for white folk to make money. This is what black people been doing since 1619 up until this present day. And they don't even realize that the smoke and the cloud that they in and the misunderstanding, misinterpretations of who they are as individuals. You're the makers and the owners. You are the cream of the earth. You just don't recognize it or you don't remember it. But don't mind me. If you want to keep yourself in that diminished role and not understand that there's something bigger and better that's waiting on you, it's waiting on you to rise to the occasion and be the man and the woman that you're supposed to be, the man and woman of the melanation. Not if you go on any one of these YouTubes, you go on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. What is this? What is that? I want to shake it. I want to see some. I don't know what they're saying, but I want to see you shake something. R. Kelly or something. Why are there so many women, right? For the most part, on there thinking that this is what everybody needs to see or everybody wants to be a part of that. Every woman is all of a sudden is a model, is a shake dancer or exotic dancer. You see what it's doing to you because it's the digital crack once again. It's digital crack because you don't fully understand that you need to digress. You need to empty out. You need to sit down and get in a space to where you know, I talk about this time all the time with God's property. God's property is making nature. She's making the juice, the fruits and the berries and the vegetables. That's part of being grounding. That's part of grounding. But you're so busy caught up in the digital crack that you can't get away from it. You're being smothered. You've been cut off. The digital crack is that's why you get the wax and the Charleston Whites and all these guys. They are distractions. So you see things that cause vibrations, and vibrations are magnets. Drill is something that to be honest with you, the drill is what the colonizers created. They created drill long before it became drill music. Long before it got it. And then we come up today. Listen, I don't chase money. I don't chase women. I don't chase a lot of different things. I just don't chase because I attract the Because chase indicates that something is running from me. You understand? If I'm chasing something, that means money is running from me, life is running from me, women is running from me. I'm not chasing anything. I attract through my God-given talent, through what God has made me, put in me. I attract the things that I want in my life. You understand? But we so caught up, we don't realize. Wow, Belly Coolio passed away. Wow, sorry to hear that. Shout out to Coolio, man. Rest in peace, Coolio. But see where we at? Now go back to what I said. April 2020, pandemic. April 2020, Clubhouse. Now go on Clubhouse and see what you get anything that's substance from Clubhouse. Anything that you can build on. There may be one or two Clubhouses on there that you can. I'm not gonna doubt that. But what I'm saying is that this thing is not coincident. It's not coincident. You need to understand where we at. So moving forward, you got the Bloods and the Crips, the Don Moons and BGs. Now these people, you got people in California feuding with people in Texas feuding with people in New York, all through the internet. This has never happened before. Because all you under the dynamic and under the spell of the Damu and the Kiwi experience. The Damu and Kiwi experience was created out of mercurial mindset, something that is unpredictable, all of a sudden, unstable, wayward, untrustworthy. See? And then when I see people on here talking about they activists and they community reps and all this stuff, but yet they actions and deeds don't say that. They mouth say it, it's lip service, but the action and deeds say, I'm still a part of this Kiwi. I'm still a part of this Damuism. I'm still a part of this GDism or the BDism. I'm still a part of that because I can't let it go. See, in the 80s, that's why they built the prisons the way they did, because they understood that you guys was gonna all of us was gonna take this crack and do whatever we did with it, and they was gonna need a place to put us. So they put us in prison. So now when you get to the pandemic, they gave you the stimulus, the PPP and the EDD and all this stuff. They extended the law on that 10 years because they making plans to start mass incarcerating people again. You live in a democracy. In a democracy, people have to die, people have to live, people have to suffer, people have to this all sorts of kind of things for democracy to thrive. It doesn't care about you as an individual. But one thing you do have, and you have that God power, you have that God gene. You have that God gene. That God gene is where you got to come together. You got to come together and initiate your strategy plan and process this life in a way that God intended you to process. It's a growth and development. Let my entry be by the gate and truth and honor. Likewise, let my exit be by the gate and truth and honor. Sometimes I have to come on here and talk in this way because there's plenty of things that I want to say, but often I can't say them all because you guys won't be receptive to it because you guys want to hear the drama. You love being in drama and chaos. There's multitude of people that run right over there and hear whack right now, going back and forth with Mika, or going back and forth with Stutterbox, my other boy, Spiderloak. You know, and I'm not saying all these people are bad people, but some of them are misguided and they misunderstand what's going on, what the dynamics is really happening, what's pulling the strings, and what's pushing them, ushering them in that direction. See, because there's no coincidence that the pandemic occurred in April 2020 and the Clubhouse was created at the same time. I'm sitting in the house, I'm in the house bored, right? Remember that jingle? I'm in the house, sitting in the house, and I'm sitting in the house bored. All that was design. That's design, man. It's not coincidence, it's design. So then we get to the part where people were getting all this PPP, because remember when the PPP hit, everything got quiet because everybody had money. But they went to the Gucci store, the Prada store, the Fendi store, the Louis Vuitton store, the Cadillac dealer, the Benz dealer, the BMW, the Bentley dealer. More black people buy Mercedes than any other group of people, and yet they can't even afford them. They just go buy them. They worry about paying for them later. They went and bought the Mercedes. They went and bought 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains. They went off 20, 30 chains on one neck. How many chains you need? That's what they did. And they got real quiet when nobody killing nobody. Nobody was, everybody was running like this thing wasn't going. It was like the 80s again. Like it wasn't going to run out. Like it wasn't going to stop. It was going to continue to perpetuate. It was going to continue. And you were going to continue to enjoy all the money and all the cards and all that stuff, right? You was going to enjoy that. But nobody was. Now the fallout. Here comes the fallout. The fallout is happening now. Where you get the P&B rock going to Roscoe's and dining. Let's look at that. I want you to look at that, right? Here you go, rock, right here, right here. Matter of fact, I want you to hear what this brother had to say. I think this brother put a right cut on it. He put the right cut on it.
Rapper PNB was killed several days ago in Los Angeles at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles as he dined with his girlfriend. Big news. They found his killer. They've identified his killers. His killers. One, this cold-blooded fam. One is a woman. The other is an underage boy. And the other, police say, is his father. They believe that the father drove the getaway car as the son went inside and committed the murder. Fam, remember when I told y'all that you have some parents out here who are dead set on making sure that because they ain't shit, they're gonna make sure that their kids are not shit? Some parents actually get jealous if they see their kids doing well, if they see their kids trying to break that poverty mold or that uncivilized mold. They get besides themselves because they don't want to look at their kids. This is the craziest thing ever, fam. They don't want to look at their kids and their kids be a constant reminder to them of their failure. Like, wow, how could something this great come from me?
So again, how do a mom and a dad, the dad is the getaway driver, they both had to encourage this youngster, influence this youngster some type of way to go in there and perpetrate this crime. But that's what struggle does to you. Struggle makes you get desperate. Struggle makes you do things that you wouldn't believe you'd do. But why do you wind up in that struggle role? It's what you have to understand. Understand, overstand, and understand. How did you wind up in that role? Because you come in this world not knowing nothing. But you have the absolute right to know everything if you pour into oneself. Just because you see everybody doing something don't make it correct. Just because you see everybody putting rags and tucking this in their pocket and doing that, that don't make it right, correct? Inspect what you expect in this life. I got another clip to show y'all on that. You know what I mean? Because I was really sad about that because here's a guy, he came into LA to enjoy himself. Okay, he got a few things. He made a way for himself. Don't give nobody right to take it away from him. And yet they took it away and took his life too. It's terrible. But that's what these things are doing to us. It's the digital crack that's going on. It's the back, even the youngsters, right? They go live. They go busting and go live. Who does that? They go, getting at the people and then they go live. or they wake up every morning going live arguing, fighting, and fussing, and be this, dog that, and lobbing all these atrocious names out on the internet. And then they don't even realize who they're talking to. And then that individual run into that individual. It could be an individual way from LA or an individual way from Texas. And the individual from LA don't even realize the dude from Texas, like, man, that's that dude that was talking great. Now he still got something in his heart. You arguing with somebody clearing a whole nother state. It don't make no sense. But, don't mind me, just watch it. I know y'all got some questions for me, but let me drop this other clip right here.
People have been arrested in connection with the murder of rapper P&B Rock in South LA. LAPD confirms one of them is a 17-year-old teenager. The second is his stepmother, 32-year-old Chantel Trone. A third suspect, previously identified as Freddie Lee Trone, remains outstanding. His relationship to the two arrested is still unclear. P&B Rock was shot and killed September 12th while eating lunch at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
What kind of daddy was Freddie Lee? What kind of daddy was Freddie Lee? What kind of mom was, just what got into these people? What made them do that? Was it that serious? Like I say, just a year ago, people was all over the place with, or maybe a year and a half ago, I don't know, all over the place with the PPP and enjoying life and showing up to everybody going to Miami, girls going to Miami in droves, getting, seeing Dr. Miami. Nobody mentioned nothing about no Miami in the last 5 or 6 months. Before, you couldn't stop people from going to Miami because they took all that money and wasted it. Some people were smart. Some people took their money and invested in a business. And, shout out to them, and they're still doing quite well because they were smart and they understood the value and what did they need to do. But we live in an age of digital crack. And the digital crack is very consumed. It's very addictive. It's in the music. It's in the internet. Anybody can wake up early in the morning, jump on Clubhouse and spend 4 to 5, 6 hours on Clubhouse. And Miami, let me go all the way back. April 20th was the initiation of Clubhouse. April 20th was when the pandemic was made known to everybody. Is that a coincidence? It's the new dope game. You're right. So let me get some comments. Or if anybody want to jump in the chat with me or whatever, we can do it. Let's do it. If anybody disagree with what I'm saying, I want to hear it. Because everybody don't agree. And let me make a good strong point. We ain't got to argue. We can agree to disagree. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, allegedly, respectfully, they were innocent to proven guilty. But like I know, bro. Come on now. Shout out to Mike Marks. He working on his car. What's the questions, man? Anything. I mean, a lot. I know y'all like to hear about a lot of different stuff, but today we on this. Sometimes we got to get on the stuff where we got to challenge people. Can't always be about the, I did some amazing interviews, by the way, with shout out to Fingers from Lime Hood. Shout out to Black Tommy, one of Harry O and Big Dave's partners. Tommy was one of the first guys that was putting it down out there, doing his thing, His interview was coming. There's more interviews coming, So, Sometimes I gotta just come at you with the information, I'll be less than if I didn't give you the information to provide 702. I see you. If I didn't provide you with the wisdom and the knowledge that I understand, because that's what Wisdom Wednesday is about, providing the people with something of substance, something they could go back and, like I say, go back. Don't take my word. Go look at it. Look at when Clubhouse came out, and look at when the pandemic came around, and see what parallels or how you draw from that. What you get from it. Because again, gaslighting, that's what Whack does. He gaslights, is a form of psychological manipulation in which the abuser attempts to sow self-doubt into to his victims, or confuse it. You know what I mean? The people that he's arguing with, he make them doubt themselves. You know what I mean? And I ain't downing him. You know what I mean? I just know what it is, though. You know what I mean? I'm calling right. Charleston White, another character. But Charleston White says something, he says something the other. Sometimes I agree with Charleston White. I don't always disagree with him. Sometimes I do agree with it. Sometimes he says some things that are spot on. You know, can't always disagree with him. There's times where he's accurate on certain things, but sometimes he's just over the top with some of his stuff. You know. So what are the questions? I wonder what they're going to say about the Houston, when people from the different states getting killed over there now. In the last week, you're right. There's about 2 or 3 rappers. Shout out to Christy Jones. You're a smart woman. I'm not just a smart man. You're a smart woman. All you guys have the intelligence, the mental acuity to address these issues that I'm talking about. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. Yeah, you're right. Spook to set you by the door. You absolutely right. Do I agree with the snitching? I don't even pay no attention to it because I'm beyond that. See, let me tell you something, man. You can't be overly worried about snitching, because snitching was here when the world was created. When God was looking for Abel, who told him where he was at? Or did he know where he's? I don't know. You know what I mean? If you go back and read the Bible, there's plenty of stories in the Bible where somebody was telling on somebody. So that's something that's in the planet. That's something that's in the nature of man. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do about that to stop individuals from doing that. There's absolutely nothing. I don't I don't agree with it. I don't disagree with it. But I don't get in the way of it. Or what I do is keep myself straight, because I know this. I ain't gonna tell on myself. That's what I do know. He said I need to run for mayor. Right on, Gerald. I appreciate that. Major problems. Grandparents, 40s, 50s are old. Most grandparents ain't there. Don't know who grandpapa is or grandma. Still going to beach to the club. Yeah, that's where we at, Troy. That's where we at. That's the time. Like I say, man, that digital crack, man. It's in the music. It's in the internet. And if you don't digress, if you just think about, if you listen to Appetite for Destruction every day, all week, all month long. At some point, man, by the end of the year, you're going to kill somebody, because you've been feeding your mind that the whole time. You've been feeding your spirit, your body, and soul that kill, kill, kill. Chrissy, you want to jump in? Let me send you a link. Let me see. Let's see. See if I can send you a link in there. It'll be the link in the chat. If you grab it, you can jump in. There's a link right there. Just tap on that Hood Postman link and you'll be able to jump in the chat. H-Town has been a killing ground. Rappers, Pat got ice back in the 90s over a money dispute. Yup. And then let me talk about Empire. I'm glad you brought that up, guys. Property. Mo 3, King Von. Mo 3, King Von, Pop Smoke, Tupac, Young Dolph all had the 5-star ring on when they died. The Empire ring. What is that coincidence? Because let me tell you something about Empire. Empire is an entity, is a corporation. It's probably one of the newest. Whether it's what's the other one? Music Group. One of the music group is Sony. All these are major corporations. The Empire. There you go.
Yo,
What up, boy?
what's good, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Man, I love everything you talk about, man. I've been following you for a minute. I love all the jewels you drop, man.
I appreciate that, man. That's
straight up
awesome,
kick it
man.
out. And like you said, that the clubhouse, man, they ain't talking about nothing.
Nothing.
You talk about a bunch of damn nonsense, man.
Nothing.
Nothing. And
but they do it. But do you see the addiction that's attached, associated with that?
Absolutely, man. Ain't no love. Like you said, drill music, like it's cool. Some of it cool. I like it. You know, you party, you have a good time with it, this, that, and the other. But people take everything to heart, man. You know what I'm saying? We need some more love. Like I need to hear some modern day Keith Sweat, yo. Ain't nobody, fellas, it ain't nothing wrong with making love.
Hey, man, I'm tired of Keith Sweat because all the women on TikTok and Insta going like this. I want to see your body. You know, they do
ain't nothing wrong. See, fellas act like it's a problem with ain't nothing wrong with begging and stuff, man. That's what you're supposed to do. Dog chase the cat. The dog chase the cat.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, Christy? You getting your hair done?
Yeah, I'm getting my hair done. That's about it.
Hey, that's a bold move by you. Usually women don't want to see nobody doing their hair.
You know I'm uncut.
Yeah, I know
uncut.
that.
It don't matter. I could look nice. I could look whatever. It doesn't matter.
So, wait a minute, Troy. Let me ask you a question. So, what's your thoughts on some of the stuff I was saying? Do you agree or disagree?
On which part?
Any of it.
I think to be honest, you bringing a great awareness. It's up to the people to grasp it or not, you know. So right now, it's a lot of people we falling short from different situations, not believing and knowing that this stuff is really real. That's happening right in our communities, you know. So it's like a lot of people are lost. You know, some people don't know how to conquer the situation. Some people do know how to conquer the situation, but overall. And when you get to the part where you said a snitching and stuff like that, I think that at the end of the day, that there's no more. It's really no loyalty really out here no more, because actually the young people really actually messed that up. The sentimental values that we had back in the days from our parents, your parents, us coming up. At this point, they don't acknowledge that anymore. It's not respected anymore in the homes nor in the streets. There's no unity in none of these neighborhoods anymore. To, like, you know what I mean, for people our age or older to know when to sit it down or stand up, or you know what I'm saying, or be respectful. Some people playing like they not involved, but they really in all nationality that is involved. But they, you know what I'm saying, an eye for an eye.
What's your thoughts on that, Troy?
Don't do nothing to get stitched on, man. Don't do nothing to get stitched on.
That's it.
Get a damn job. Get a job.
That's true, but and at the same time,
there's plenty of ways out here for people to make an honest living. Yo, get a job. See, this is these kids. This the microwave generation. This the elevator generation. Don't nobody want to take the stairs.
You're right.
Everybody want to take the microwave. You want something to be good? Don't nothing good come out the microwave. You got to stand over that stove and cook if you want something good.
That's true. Mike Marks, I see you in there, man. What you got to add to the spot?
Salute.
Come on, man. We cooking gumbo, bro. We cooking gumbo tonight.
I'm trying to repeat the question
again? Salute to the panel, too. Can you repeat the question again?
It's just everything I was talking about, Mike. It's nothing specific. Everything I was talking about, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, like in these days, it's like no guidance, and then it's
Somebody got
with
their
the.
music on.
No, I'm turning that shit off. Go ahead.
I said there's no guidance, and with the youth, like with people my age and younger, it's like a disconnect. Uh, Instead of being talked to and guided the right way, we always getting preached at and coached about, well, you should have did this and you should have did that. And I say this like I always been saying, everybody was a teenager, young person, kid before, so it's through trial and error. You have to learn, and it's just a big disconnection with people. Parents don't have time for their kids. They out trying to live their life, like they say, living their best life. The kids got to figure
But
stuff out on
Mike,
their own.
the dynamics of parents being home is no longer available to us because we had a paradigm shift. See, all these things that I named from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s were all paradigm shifts. And if you don't recognize a paradigm shift, you'll get caught up in the mix-up because these people think about these things years and years ahead before they initiate them. The collapse of the housing unit was initiated. The pandemic, all that stuff was initiated. Clubhouse all these things initiated for certain reasons that we may not understand on the surface. So you got to dig deep and look, like I made the comparisons with the pandemic and the Clubhouse simultaneously starting at the same time. And then remember the little jingle, I'm sitting in the house bored. I'm bored in the house, sitting in the house. All that was like to help you smooth you over so you can be cool with it, but at the same time they soften the blow by giving you stimulus, the EDD and the PPP, and everybody thought like it was just like we are so gullible as a people. It's just like in the 80s when they provided the cocaine, everybody got rich, but nobody knew that they was coming to take everybody to jail.
Ain't nothing free, yo. Ain't nothing free.
Ain't nothing free.
That's true.
Ain't nothing free.
It's true. It's
true. You think you ain't gonna have to pay that money back?
It's true.
You gotta pay that back. You gonna pay that money back, or you going to jail. You can take your pick.
Hey, look, check this out. Don't you get in the mail, right? You know how you get junk mail in the mail, like physical mail, hard copy mail, letters in the mail. You get plenty of credit card stuff every day.
Every day.
They throwing it at you.
Mm-hmm.
I tell that shit straight up, man. That's what y'all should have did with these people. Man, that PPP, I wasn't touching it with a 100-foot pole.
You're right.
You got to pay that back home. You got to pay. You think they just going to give you some free money? Get the hell out of here.
Right on, Kevin. I appreciate it. Look at how many people, in the most part, everybody took $20,000. Why is that?
Hey, Professor.
But then you had the other people that was a little greedy. They took 50, 100,000, 200,000. Then the first people they take, they go sit in the prison. and I'm not laughing in the sense that, because it's sad that we fall for the okie doke like we do.
Everybody got a brain. They knew when they took it, yo. They knew when they took it, it was going to be repercussions. You know, when you took it, it was going to be repercussions, man.
Right.
Just like when you know when you take drugs, it's going to be repercussions like the crack thing. I mean, I don't know. I got something strong will or whatever. I would never take it because I seen how people look. I seen it. If crack make me look like that, hell no.
So what you think about it, Christy?
About, people gonna take chances. They're gonna take a risk. Just look how you said a dude PNB or whatever. He just got killed over some jury. So let alone whatever they gonna sell the jury for. They not gonna get as much as the jury really worth. So you think people not gonna take a chance? They gonna take their chances later because if they could get caught robbing somebody, stealing somebody. So at the end of the day, it's like a rain check. Hit me later.
That was sad, man. That was sad.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I I don't I like to see people doing good. You feel me? I like to see everybody doing good. But at some point, everybody not built like that. Everybody is not like that. Like he said, it's a microwavable thing. They want it just like that. You know what I'm saying? Just
But
like the
but
minds is just like that.
look at this part right here, Christy, and you too, Troy, Mike. Look at this part. We came to this world this bare butt, right?
Right?
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
But yet we added all these things based on man's thinking and man's invention. Because the first people that inhabited the planets and the earth, they barely wore clothes and they wore no shoes because they
Right.
knew how the importance of being grounded to the earth in itself. We
Right.
are if we're part of the earth and we own the earth, shouldn't we be connected to it? But
Yes.
we so dialed into this modernization and into things like you was talking about, the microwave and all these other things, the internet and all these things that distract us from nature. We don't pay attention to that. That's part of why you see all, because there's countless and countless of dialysis hospitals and all these urgent cares. In the 60s, you didn't see nothing about it. There was no such thing as urgent care, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There was no dialysis, bro.
They like it on every
And
corner, like the liquor store
people
now.
was living to be old.
Yeah,
Right.
people were living because those people knew the importance of eating certain type of foods and being grounded. Grounding is when you are spiritually connected. You even out there touching trees, you walking barefooted in the grass and doing things that we did before inventions started taking over and consuming us. It just, I mean, I can go on and on about this stuff,
I
and some
go
people
on
think
and
that
on and on.
Hey, Professor, you can hear me?
Look, I'm still blessed. I'm still blessed enough to have both of my grandmothers, right? Both of my grandmothers damn near 90. My grandmother's sister still living. She like 94, right? Yo, air conditioner. They don't use air conditioner like that. That's how arthritis set in when you in this air conditioner chilling, and then you go right back out in the hot sun. That's how arthritis set in. Break down your body. The microwave. That's
yeah.
radiation.
And
Now I
look
ain't
at this,
no problem.
Biden.
I ain't
Biden
no,
snuck this in, Troy. He snuck this in. He snuck in a bill where he hired 80,000 IRS agents and he extended the prosecution to 10 years.
Hey, Professor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, with Biden and Kamala Harris, you gotta think about it. You got two lawmakers right there. That's president and vice president. I mean, I knew before, after looking up their background, what the whole intentions was. It was to police the country and get it back to wherever they thought it needed to be. So that was the whole plan for them. What you could say, you had the Bush era, the Obama era, and the Trump era. The Trump era, they said was the worst, so they wanted
Hey,
to get
man,
back.
let me tell you something, Mike. Biden is the worst thing that ever happened, man.
all of them the worst, man. All of them
Yeah,
the same.
Here's the thing: people don't understand that Biden is the one that brought in the anti-terrorist bill and the crime bill back, and him and Hillary Clinton was speaking about the super predators and the
yeah.
undesirables and all this stuff, and then
I'm one of the kids.
the Black Caucus helped usher Black Caucus and preachers,
I
and
was
the
one of
Black
the kids that
Caucus
was affected
helped
by
bring
it.
that bill to the floor and make it law.
You heard me, Professor? I was one of the kids that was affected by it. My dad and my mom both went. They both been to jail before, so like I said, I know what it's
Yeah,
like. So
All of them the same, yo. All
yeah,
politicians the
I
same.
already like I can say a little ill will feeling to them because like I said, both of my parents was took away. My grandmother raised me, so I'm already looking at it from this point of advantage, and then just like I said right now, the whole point right now is to lock people up. You got these people
yeah.
that running Fortune 500 companies that steal every day. They don't lock them up, but
Hey,
you know
bro.
this was fish bait with the PPP loan, just like with the stimulus. It was a catch to it. They was giving you the money, but you have to pay it back.
Hey, Kevin. Kevin, how old are you, man? Can I ask? How old are you?
Who, who me?
Yeah.
I'm 27.
You 27?
Yes, sir.
You said both of your parents been incarcerated and stuff like that. You was raised by your grandmother, right?
Yes, sir.
But if you went out in the street and did something, right? Was there repercussions behind that? Well, grandma tear that ass up.
I can say 50-50 because my grandmother had a lot of grandkids and a lot of us stayed with her. So I was the baby for a long time. So I had older cousins I was put off on kind of too. Like I said,
And they probably was like understanding. See, that's
yeah,
why I said that's kind of where the ball dropped, man. Like, look, I'm 49, right? Now my father did 13 years in the joint. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He did most of his time. My first 2 years of life, he was locked up. He came home. But once he came home, he went straight now. He did his thing. Now he a truck driver. He got his own truck and business, all this, right? But if I did something in the street, yo, I got that ass. I was going home to an ass whipping. I had homeboys and stuff like you that was raised by grandparents, this, that, and other. That was kind of too old to do that, had other grandchildren and stuff like that. But that's where we dropped the ball. We ain't disciplining no more, yo. Cause I was going home to an ass whipping. And you ain't want my father ass whipping.
yeah, like whatever I did, my grandmother friends would always point it out. So it was always a microscope on me when I did go outside. Like
Right.
she had one friend. I could go to my friend's house and just knock on his door. Oh, he's over here knocking on the door loud. Come on, go back. I just have to stay by the house in the
With
middle of the
me,
neighborhood.
when we dropped the ball, it wasn't none of that with me, yo. It was a long walk home, son. And when you got home, you got discipline. That's where we dropped the ball. We got these kids
Troy,
don't have no repercussions. You got
for real,
doing a crime like that. What is father?
Well, for real, Troy, we grew up in an era where your mom and dad just looked at you.
Right.
Man,
And you knew what that meant.
you knew what it meant. And
Yeah.
see, hey, I got my 3 sons like that. You know
Shout
what I'm
out
saying?
to you, man. Shout out to you, man.
Cause shit, man, my father wasn't playing that. He said, man, I did enough time for everybody. And I asked my father, now that I grown, I'm like, man, why you whipping nigga ass like that? He was like, son, if I do that, you was gonna beat me. And you going to the penitentiary with me taking that L. And that shit wasn't gonna happen. And that was that. But shit, I had aunts and uncles that attacked that ass too. You know what I'm saying? Now, and then see, it's like it was the time like Melly Mel. Your age, you like damn. My father's 67, so he got a couple years on you. But guys that was older than me, I'm 49. Guys like 55. It was the time when I was going to school. You see them on the corner, they older guys. You try to get take your ass to school. Now that same dude that used to say the same age they take your ass to school, he passing the blunt and passing the 40.
Man, shout out to Asiatic Supreme. You're right, man. That's what they do now. They smoke and drink together.
My generation dropped the ball, yo. We got to pick that shit up. My generation dropped the ball. The 85, our generation dropped the ball. Not so much your generation, Melly Mel, but right after you, that's where the ball dropped.
Hey, Troy, I can say something too, like around 2005, 2007, or 2004, a lot of guys your age, they went to jail for federal indictments too, so it was like a repeat of the 94 crime bill, so it was more kids that was left without parents, and then it was just a generation of 17, 18-year-olds leading the blind and trying to figure out, so that's where the chaos started at, and that's why I can say today, things are the way it is because you had this group, you had a period like maybe a 10-year gap or a 13-year gap from the 70 babies to like 1987. You had those people leading the pack and trying to make decisions that they really didn't know how to make. And a lot of them got in trouble. They went to jail. And then you just had you had a small period where you had other kids that tried to get on the right track, but then the 2000 babies, they off the chain. Yeah.
Oh, the chain. Ain't no discipline. Ain't no repercussions. Ain't nobody going home to no ass whippings, man. They do something, get locked up, and they go right back outside.
Let me ask you, Chrissy, how did any of this stuff impact you, or did you stay straight, or you stayed prayed up and just do what you do?
I ain't always been prayed up. I ain't been always prayed up. To be honest with you, sometimes my fortune and my forte of thinking that sometimes things don't always come back on. I understand what he just said right now. A lot of people went to jail and went to prison, so the ball dropped, and I understand that, and I know that it did drop. but also at some point we can also believe that we have good in this world and we have bad in this world. So at some point, sometimes us as parents, we don't always pay the price of the things that we have done in the community and outside of the community. So sometimes our kids can receive our backlash, what we were supposed to receive, but it went on our kids.
Uh-huh.
So
Well,
sometimes
I
our
always
kids
say
pay the
that karma
price.
don't have no expiration date.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Because sometimes it could skip you and hit your kids to make you feel what somebody else felt. So not necessarily all the time that it come back on you, but it come back on you in a different form. So
Generational.
yes, in a generational area. So you know what I mean. It could hit you where it really hurt. You know. So that's kind of like one of my theories of it, you know. And some people is firm in their households, and some people may not be firm. But no matter however you raise a child in this day and time, you can raise your kids the best. They can know structure, everything, but that child is going to only do what that child wants to do because that child has a brain of its own, because they no longer have the type of upbringing that they had back in the days. It goes back clearly to what he was just saying, that his father basically said, I done did a gang of time for you, make sure that you ain't about to do that type of time. You're going to do what you're supposed to do. So, and nationality, no disrespect, but I'm just going to keep it real because, you know, you got some men that's really out here genuine. And I'm going to say, it seems like you guys on here, for the most part, you guys are real men from my perspective. But nowadays, I'm just gonna keep it real. Just like how you got women out here that drop the ball, you got a lot of men out here that drop the ball. A lot of men have female hormones in them, female emotions, female tendencies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
Say that right there.
It start with us.
And you know, so nowadays it's like the woman, this guy told me this, and it's deep and it's really true. So sometimes, you know, just say for instance, I'm not in a relationship. I'm a single woman. I'm a single agent, and it's deep because some people say, oh, their standards is too high. Not that we was talking about this, but I'm gonna say this, you know. But some people's standards is too high. They want this, they want that, they want this, they want this, or whatever the case may be. But it's crazy. The man said, you know what? He said, well, if you're in a relationship with a woman and you pull up to the car, if you pull up to a car shop to get your car fixed, something wrong with your woman car, and if your woman get out the car and she goes to the mechanic and tell the mechanic what's wrong with the car, and the man sitting in the car the whole time as the woman getting out the car speaking, you didn't lost your woman already there. You get what I'm saying? That means that you're not doing a male thing. You know what I'm saying? If your son needs a haircut and you allow your woman to go to the barbershop and take your woman to the take your son to the barbershop, that means you didn't lost your woman already there. No matter if she's strong or not. If you're not being the person that you're supposed to be standing side by side, have her front and her back, and the same goes way for a woman. So it's a lot of things that has been taken out. You know what I'm saying? So we have to blame each other on each side, because this is something that not just happened in 2000. It been happening because it just got worse. Put it that way.
Yes.
So they say one apple can spoil a whole bunch. You get what I'm saying? One apple can spoil a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I feel that at some point, somewhere down the line, because everybody was not, you got to think about, you got some family members that was raised back then that family knew when the street lights came on, you better be in the house and this type of stuff. But you still have also some families back in the days that them kids still outside after the street lights is on. You know what I'm saying? And it don't matter.
You trying to figure out how they get to stay out there, and I know.
Right. But as you got older, you understood. And the crazy part about it is, like, no matter what, my father
you appreciate going in the house.
Right. And that you had a house. And it's so crazy because my mom, she never did drugs, but my dad, he had a good job. He was a functional addict. He did drugs. But one thing I can say is that in this day and time, kids nowadays, the parents that's on drugs, they don't respect the parents that's on drugs. You know what I'm saying? You still got functional addicts, parents that do drugs, but them still some of them kids that's today that's got good jobs, own houses. Just because the simple fact the parents was on dope don't mean that them kids didn't have the things that they needed to have. Don't mean that the parent did not teach them. It was just something that happened. You get what I'm saying? So at this point, and guess what? Them the people that family members that own a lot of property in the neighborhood. You know? Them kids' parents, the one that was smoking drugs, you know?
That's the big thing that came out of crack era, yo. It took the respect away.
Right. But some people that was doing that crack though, them kids, no matter what, because I'm gonna tell you, my dad didn't play, even though he was on drugs, he didn't play. He did not play.
You got some?
Right. He did not play. My dad when he say something, he meant what he said. Straight up.
Damn right.
Yeah. One time only.
And it's gonna be
Right.
repercussions. These kids
Right.
don't have no repercussions, man. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't
Somebody say,
discipline,
shout out to Christine getting her hair done. That's Christy, not Christine.
Detroit, Detroit, like you
you
said,
don't
Thank
they
discipline.
don't have
you.
repercussions, and
Thank
the
you.
parents are being friends with their kids.
Right. Right.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Like I
Right.
say, even though my mom and my dad went through what they went through when I was back with my mom didn't play that friend game with me.
Yep. And but
Yeah,
you know what's so crazy? What he just said, it made a lot of sense that parents being friends with their kids. Some parents is still hurting from generations from as kids because they what happened to them as a child. That's why they're trying to. Some of the parents they trying to be cool with their kids because they want their kid they want to have a relationship with their kids, but they going about it in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? They don't want their kid to feel like how they felt as a kid because people still holding childhood pain.
I,
Yeah, so Christy, Troy, Mike, what should we be doing then? How do we right the ship? How do we correct what's happening?
this is everybody got to do their part. Now,
Right.
when I grew up, like I said, I respected my elders. You know, you try to go hang out with the big boys. Man, take your little ass, go to school, this, that, and other, right? I wanted, I wanted my turn to be able to say that.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes acting like they don't want their turn.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be, look, you ain't gonna be, I'm 40 something, I'm 49 years old, man. It's 17, 18, under 20, 25. You ain't gonna be calling me, bruh. I ain't your bro, yo. I ain't your peer.
Right. Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I take the
Mm-hmm.
uncle. I take that, but I ain't your bro. I pull
Right.
him
I
up
ain't
about
bruh,
that.
I ain't dude, I ain't nigga, none of
Right,
that.
right.
Right.
You know my name. My name Coach Troy, Mr. Troy. And like she said about the manhood and the stuff, like, you know, like I hate to see a couple in the car at the gas station and the woman pumping the gas. Like, come on, y'all. That tell you a lot about a person right there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
It happens.
the one thing going on with this generation now, the young dude, it's like I said, it start when she was saying that. One reason why I was pointing at me, because I said it start with us. It start with the men. The women take the men lead. These, you got dudes out here showing more ass than the girl. Pull your damn pants up. Y'all
That's
showing
true.
more ass than the girl.
That's true.
And y'all with him, he's showing more ass than the girls.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Showing their whole ass.
Right.
The waistline under the cheeks.
Right.
Like, come
That's
on,
true.
yo.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, it's been fun, man. I got to get up out of here, man. We got to do this again, Christy. You got to come on and
Right. And
talk
I
some
Damn
more.
right.
think
Troy, I appreciate you. Definitely,
Anytime.
you
Anytime.
definitely welcome back, Mike Marks. You know the vibe. Hey,
I
right.
so
love
man, I appreciate you guys.
I just
Thank
want to say
you.
one more thing. I love that
Okay, go
saying.
ahead.
I love that saying, Melly Mel. I love that saying. Because I roll a small pack too. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Right. Right.
I love that.
Every time
I
I
love
keep
that.
my circle small because I'd
Small.
rather
Keep it
Right.
have
small
4 quarters
than
than
a
a
Right.
100
hundred
pennies.
pennies.
Right.
But anytime, man. Shit.
And remember this. Bees ain't sitting around explaining flies why honey is better than this.
Damn right.
Okay.
And
Okay.
look, and Uncle, and you know what? I like Brad Dog too. Brad Dog, stop explaining yourself to these dummies, man. You don't
Right.
gotta do that. You don't gotta do that, Uncle Brad Dog. You don't gotta do that, man. Stop explaining yourself to these dummies.
I
Right.
tell you, I definitely tell you. Right on, Troy. Salute to you, man. Peace.
Damn right.
Right.
All right.
Hold on, Chrissy. Oh, she out of there. Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Post, man. You know the vibe, man. I think we achieved our goal tonight. We got the information out. I know y'all wanted to hear some gang and war stories, but that's okay. We'll be back to it. Sometimes we just gotta do what we do, get through it, put the information out, and let it settle, and let it hit, let it land, let it land. I am Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe. Shout out to Michelle, shout out to Rodney, Asiatic Supreme Divine Cutmore, and of course, Miss Marlena, Postmaster General, and CB. God's property, definitely God's property. Keep making that healing juice you got over there, that miracle juice 9-1 with fruits and berries and vegetables. Keep doing that. This amazing stuff she got there, you guys. You guys got to tap in with her. JS, I see you, bro. And shout out to our panel, our panel that just dropped in. And shout out to King Mike for just stepping up. Shout out to Troy and shout out to Christy. You know the vibe. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the 1st and the 15th. We're about to get up out of here. So with that being said, Marlena Williams.
Prefer grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money.
Marlena Williams, go ahead and lock the door because we are gone.